So if you're a huge fan of the HBO series Insecure, you'll remember the last season where Issa Rae, the main character, goes back and sees her former self wearing braces. And she's talking to herself in the mirror and she's like, "Ooh, we got our braces off." She's like, "Let me see your teeth. Show me how you eat." I can relate. I can relate to that. I had the traditional braces and now I have experienced Invisalign. It is so important when you do any type of treatment, follow through the entire treatment. I love showing off my teeth. So if you have wanted to be a part of that, call Bates Orthodontics today at 804-258-4268. You can also visit them at batesbraces.com, BATESBRACES.com for a free consult. And you can schedule it by clicking their green button up at the top and follow the 3 easy steps. If you're not local to Richmond, visit Invisalign.com, enter in your zip code, and you'll find the perfect Invisalign provider that is in your area. Again, let me see them teeth. There is only one you, and that is your superpower. You can't F that up. However, you can get stuck. That's why I created this space called Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons. Unstuck Yourself is about figuring out what has you feeling frustrated, isolated, or depleted of energy so that you're able to unstuck yourself on your journey through life when you don't know how to move forward. Unstuck yourself in your career that no longer excites and challenges you. Unstuck yourself with negative thoughts that seem to be doing cartwheels in your head consistently. I don't have the answers. You do. You always have. I'm providing the time, space, and grace for you to reconnect to that knowing. I'm Crystal Simmons, coach, speaker, and facilitator, and I'm grateful you made it here. Let's begin to unstuck yourself. Hello. Hey, peeps. It's me. It's Crystal, and I'm excited to speak with each of you today. And I'm super excited to dedicate the Crystaltown update to all the peeps who reached out and shared a moment of reflection for last week's episode, which was titled, do y'all remember? It was titled Failing Forward, and it was a part of the Shame, Doubt, and Fear, oh my, series that we do here on the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons. I'm so appreciative of each and every person who has listened thus far, but also decided to comment, and I'm going to share a few of them because these were super dope to read, but also feel that connection and confirm we're not in this alone. So shout out to John Spears over in LinkedIn land. Yes, I'm on LinkedIn, Crystal Simmons, 2 fingers for the peace sign. And he says, yes, I use all the various F words. So let me keep y'all up to date. If y'all didn't see, I posted about last week's episode and asked the question, do you use the F word? Yes, I use all the various F words, especially failure. I'm normalizing failure in my life and in the lives of those around me, my kids, my peers, my team. It's so important to be open and honest about when we fail so that we learn from the experience and we are able to get up and keep moving forward. Yes, John, thank you for that. And I want to add to V. She popped in the comments for Instagram. I'm at Crystal Clear Purposes. And she shares, just posted an F word of ours with the 3 different emojis, with the kissing emoji, hearts, closing the eye. I don't know what that means. Is it hiding? Oh, geez. I don't even know what that is. All right. So she says, stay awesome, Crystal, and thank you for the reality check with a side of grace. Thank you, V. And that she's actually over on Instagram as come, COME _ Bucha, BUCHA. I would say the best kombucha ever. I typically do not like it, but hers, phenomenal. And that's not even, like, y'all know, no, it's awesome. Also, shout out to my friend Felicia who shared the episode 34 with Failing Forward last week on her stories. And she says, I got my notification. A new episode dropped. Whoop, whoop. This is your time right now as you're listening to go to whatever you listen to and subscribe, hit the heart, hit the bell, so that when a new episode is dropped, you're notified and you don't have to be reminded by my posts. You're already in it and you can enjoy it. So Felicia continues. She said, today I clicked listen in the moment. This episode was what I needed. I can so relate to all shared in this episode. Take a listen. Thanks, Crystal, for always being transparent. And thank you, Felicia, for always being so open to share and give to those who just don't know about all these resources. And this podcast is a major resource. Last but not least, over on Facebook, I posted about last week's episode, and Lene gave me so much information, and I might have to edit out some of this, but I'm just going to read it, so we'll see. Again, I asked the same question, do you use the F word? And then I went into sharing about how I felt when I failed recently. If you're not aware, go back and listen to episode 34. All right, Lene says, okay, wow. First of all, I miss seeing your face each week and feeling your energy. Her and I met in a networking group last year, and it feels like forever ago. All right, I digress. Second of all, I have some thoughts on this topic. I wrote a blog about this very thing when I announced my cancer diagnosis. Failure is a club that you are now a member of, but you never wanted to join. Yo, that's the realest thing ever. All right, she continues. Guess what? I never wanted to join the breast cancer club, the skin cancer club, the miscarriage club, or the victim of the old boys club in my former corporate role. I am a card-carrying member of each of these clubs. And you know what? The perspective and knowledge I gained having gone through some shit in each of these phases of my life has allowed me to help others. Each time something failed in my body or at work, I was well positioned to help someone in my life who had to go through it too. Sure, you don't want to be the poster child for failure, but you're a coach and you're going to be coaching your clients and friends through their failures. How authentic would your advice be if you have never failed at anything? Nobody wants a perfect coach. I want to work with someone who had been through it, persevered, and came back stronger in the end. You're brave for sharing your story, but it's simply a blip. This blip is going to make you stronger in those areas of your coaching arsenal. This will be a story you can tell your clients, and when they're all in their feelings, you'll know exactly what they're going through. Lene, I thank you so very much for sharing in such great detail and reflecting back and acknowledging me wanting to show up authentic, but also, if you listen, I also want to be perceived as I'm a hard worker and I'm perfect, but then I don't either. So both can be true at the same time. That's a dialectic thinking. Wow. I'm excited. Lene and I have set up a date for her to actually be on the podcast, and we get to talk more and hear more about her. And that's going to be really exciting. Y'all, if this doesn't tell you, we're all in this together. Whether you, like Lene said, whether you don't want to be a part of the failure club, the perfectionist club, the imposter syndrome club, the procrastinator club, the wanting to not face reality club, the let's fake it till we make it club. We're in this together. And even though my failure may look differently than yours, or it might be very similar to yours, it all hits us differently. And that's cool. And you're not the only one feeling those feelings. And that too has two sides to it. To recognize you're not the only one feeling those feelings kind of punches you in your gut like, oh, I can't really stand up on my pedestal and say, woe is me. I'm not the only one feeling like I'm suffering. And when we recognize those feelings of feeling like a victim, why me? Why is this happening? We void ourselves of connecting with others who have been through the same thing or similar thing, that can hold our hand, that can cheer us on, that can encourage us. This is just a blip. This doesn't define who you are. And it gives you that comfort and strength and power to be like, you're right. So let that sit with you for a moment. I know for me, I don't have to look at it exactly the same in order for me to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. For me, if I hear a story similar to mine, it allows me to actually breathe, and it lessens the feeling of being victimized, being angry, or feeling like I'm being singled out. It releases that. And as that release, it allows opportunity. It allows resources. It allows growth to then take up that space. And when you're in your head, instead of your heart, you're denying yourself the freedom to live and to just be. Brene Brown said it best on her new HBO special. It's a limited series, if I'm not mistaken, Atlas of the Heart. And she says that we are emotional beings who, on occasion, think. Did y'all hear what I just said? We are emotional beings who, on occasion, think. So in today's episode of Unstucking Yourself by Feeling Your Feelings, it sounds so simple, but yeah, it's work. It's uncomfortable. And for many of us, we haven't had the opportunity to be taught that. We haven't had the opportunity to develop those skills, even if we were taught it at a younger age, maybe for a brief period of time. It may not have been consistent. So as we have grown, as we have been experiencing different things in our lives, personally, career-wise, spiritually, mentally, as we have grown in those areas, maybe that skill has not been grown and developed as well. So just know it is normal for you to feel whatever you're feeling, whether that's the feeling of avoidance or shame or confusion or feeling stuck. All of those are completely normal based on your experiences, based on your perspective. And this is why I'm so excited to share with you all that there is a new unstuckness opportunity that I am creating for those who have been curious about doing more than just listening to the podcast and maybe reflecting. They're ready to take action. They're ready because they trust themselves to be able to ask for what it is they want, to be able to ask questions of what will this look like for me, to be able to explore what it is that they deserve and what they want. So y'all ready? All right. So this new opportunity that I'm offering, this is for those who loves and appreciates and thrives from tools, from resources that they can refer to and build upon, and something that is very tangible, that feedback where you can actually, there's a visual aid where it's written out, there's a report that you can actually refer to, and a chance to talk that shit out with someone else, to have those curious questions of yours come up, because whenever you are introduced to anything new, you may, what is that going to look like? What is that going to feel like? Ooh, am I going to be exposed? No, this is something that will allow you to explore, but also not do it alone. To be shown and taught the skills to build upon that. And this is something that my one-on-one clients and my team coaching clients receive in their coaching packages, where we take the opportunity to dive in deeper, develop those findings over a period of time, along with many other tools and resources that I use as a coach to those clients. But for those who just aren't there yet or are not capable at the moment to commit to a 3-month partnership in one-on-one coaching or a 6-month group partnership for team coaching. So the Energy Leadership Index Assessment is the proprietary research is backed assessment tool that takes something that's so abstract, like the way a person views the world, what is our perception, and turns it into something tangible. And that metrics is something that you can see, you can feel, and you can even reevaluate in the future. And it's only available through an IPEC certified coach, which I am a certified energy leadership master practitioner. Whoop, whoop. So many of you may have taken different personality tests, but now it's time for altitudinal tests. Now, you might be thinking about like Myers-Briggs or DISC or the Enneagram. Now, these are valuable tools. They can help you with your strengths and embracing your weaknesses and discover how you can work to your full potential. In that way, they typically support a work with what you have approach to adapting to your behavior and pursuing personal excellence. Now, the Energy Leadership Index tool that I'm speaking of, it is an attitudinal assessment tool that captures how an individual currently perceives and approaches work and life. Now, with that awareness and insight that is gained through the Energy Leadership Index debrief, clients have the opportunity to reshape their attitudes and worldview and really transform who they are. And typically, I give this assessment at the start of my coaching relationship, and then I provide it towards the end to actually see that this is growth, to see the changes, to see the transformation. Again, something that is tangible. It is research backed. It allows me to show, look, this is what has come of you putting in the work and showing up, and me holding space, and me asking those thought-provoking, curious questions, and not being attached to whatever comes up for you. And I'm excited because this is completed completely online by the client. It could be at their own pace. Even though we ask that you don't diddly-daddle where you're trying to think of, ooh, what question, which answer, you answer it honestly in the moment. And we take the time together to debrief the results virtually together. Picture this. Typically, on a given day, you feel optimistic. You are excited to go to work. Maybe you're excited to see your family. You might have some hesitations with certain people, like this coworker is always the negative Nancy or the sassy Sally aunt. And you're aware of that. When you get to your place of employment, or when you get to your family member's home for that family gathering, you feel good. That is the word that you have. I feel good. I feel fine. And then negative Nancy or sassy Sally aunt comes up to you and says something that gets under your skin. Like Nancy wants to know, why do you come in earlier for work? Or why can't you stay later? Sassy Sally wants to know, why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? Why haven't you bought a house? And you immediately go into what the F. How often has scenarios like that occurred for you? I ask because it occurs all the time for me. I am human. I resonate at a place of there are opportunities around. I'm typically curious. I am typically joyful, happy, and feeling somewhat peaceful. That is normally my go-to. But as soon as, if I'm presented with discomfort, whether it's questioning why I do something from a family member or a coworker, my perception is they think I did something bad. Oh no, I'm wrong. Why is this happening? That is my typical go-to. So if you feel those feelings, again, we're all in this together. You're in great hands. In me taking this assessment for myself, which I'm so thankful IPEC allowed us to do it as IPEC Core Energy Coaches during our program, I got to see in black and white, and there's some blue if you print it in color. But I got to hold it and actually see that to be true. It's no longer images that's going in my head or thoughts of how I show up day to day or asking people or people telling me like, you're typically this person. I could actually look at the paper and see it. And in seeing it, I was like, oh, great. I'm not crazy. This makes sense. How many times have we been hiding from what we already know to be true? You're already living your life as you. We can see you. When have you seen you? The Energy Leadership Index assessment allows you to see you and you to sit with you and you to not sit alone, but sit with someone who can allow you to feel your feelings, to allow you to take your time, to also challenge you to be who you are meant to be, scared or not, uncomfortable or not, doubtful or not. Those things may still be there, but you can still be your dopest self, period. So I'm so excited to share the assessment because it is something that is tangible for those out there who are like, I am doing the do. I am reading more. I'm having those reflective moments. I am listening to podcasts. I'm noticing more things around me, like the people around me, and exploring what it would be like to surround yourself with other people and other perspectives. And you're beginning to trust yourself more and it's getting more excited, but you're still nervous, but you're still excited. Having this tool available frees you to know what you know, but see it in print, and then be able to take those steps to change whatever that doesn't bring you peace. Change whatever that you have noticed has been keeping you away from what it is that you want, because it's in you to get it. However, the filters, the perspectives, the woulda, shoulda, couldas clouds all of that. And I'm so freaking excited to share that with y'all. So excited. Because it was a game changer for me. Now, after taking that assessment, when I get into those snap feelings of, oh, you got me effed up, or who are you talking to? This is all in my head. I'm not a very confrontational person, but I do speak straight for the most part. Again, I am not perfect. There are things that I wish I would have said, I could have said. I still am like, should I say it? Is it too late? But I digress again. Just know that this tool is available and it will be linked in this show's episode notes, but also on my website at crystalclearpurposes.com. And for today, I'm going to dedicate this episode as a think tank, a little mini think tank. Who's ready? We'll start it off how we always start things off, with defining what feelings are. Feelings are an emotional state. Also, it says it could be a reaction of feeling of joy, love, care, affection, fondness, tenderness, warmth. And then the second definition says that feelings is a belief, especially a vague or irrational one. The example is he had the feeling that he was being watched. Dun, dun, dun. How many times have you said, I got the feeling this person don't like me? I feel like you trying me. I feel like you trying to play me. I feel like you're trying to silence me. How many times? With that perception or perspective, how is that helpful if the other person doesn't feel that way? So our think tank is going to be a two-parter. We're raising the awareness with the thought, with the feeling. Acknowledging and being aware of your thoughts. The question that I want you to ask yourself, or you can write it down, what thought do you have when it comes to your job? What thought do you have when it comes to your job? I don't know if y'all can hear. I just took a deep breath because I actually flashed back to my old job. How real is that for you? Answer it. Say it out loud. The thought that I have when it comes to my job is, I hate it. The thought that I have when it comes to my job, I love it, but I'm in the wrong position. The thought that I have when it comes to my job, they don't pay me enough. The thought that I have that comes to my job, I wonder if there's growth here. The thought that I have when it comes to my job, will I make it to retirement? Breathe. Write down your questions. If any of the questions that I shared resonated with you, write those down. You're essentially doing what I was explaining earlier with, is taking those thoughts and making it tangible and real out on paper. It's no longer floating in your head and planting seeds of inaction. And now I want to ask, what thought do you have when it comes to your relationship? The thought that comes to my mind when I think about my relationship is, are we fine? The thought that comes to my mind when it comes to my relationship is, Is this a committed relationship? The thought that comes to my mind when it comes to my relationship is, I've stayed too long. The thought that comes to my mind in regards to my relationship is, does he or she really love me? The thought that comes to my mind is, will we ever get married? Breathe. Again, if any of those resonates with you, write them out. If you had your own, write those out. And now we're going to go to the second part. And what this allows you to do, the reason why we're doing this two-parter, we're raising the awareness with the thoughts, and now we're going to raise the awareness with the feelings. In order for any of us to take any type of action, whether that's losing weight, whether that's changing a job, whether that's moving, or deciding to go into a relationship or end a relationship or a friendship or have that difficult conversation with a family member, we have to feel something. The feeling allows us to take action. When we don't address the feelings, the thought just keeps on swirling. Oh no. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Negative thought, negative thought, negative thought. Yeah. So when you think that your job is trash, what emotions come up? When you think that your relationship is not consistent, when you think that you will never get married, what emotions come up? When you think your job is not paying you enough, what emotions come up? When you think, I don't know if I can stay here to retirement, what feelings do you have? What are those feelings? Because when you have the thought that my job is trash and they don't pay me enough, and when I think about it, the emotion or the feeling that I feel is anger, frustration, resentment, and just frustrated, exhausted. When you have those two combinations, what action do you take? But if you haven't addressed the feeling, the action typically doesn't come. Today, you have just successfully gone through Crystal's think tank in just a matter of minutes. Today, you learned to become more aware of the thoughts that you have when it comes to your job, your relationship, maybe your personal growth. But then you get to take those thoughts, and instead of just having it swirl around in your head on and on and on, non-stop, building a story of its own. The second step is recognizing the feeling when you reflect on that thought. And also giving yourself and allowing yourself that grace that you can love your job and still feel like they don't pay you enough. You can love your relationship but still want more. Both can be true at the same time. Shout out to my therapist who taught me dialectical thinking. Two opposites can be true at the same time. Something general as it is raining and the sun is shining. It doesn't typically happen all the time, but that is true. Two opposites can be true at the same daggone time. So recognize, even if you have thoughts and feelings and they seem opposite, that is completely normal. Cheer yourself. Congratulations, you did it. You rose your awareness, and now you don't have to do anything by yourself. If you're feeling good and you're like, oh my gosh, I knew this was true. I knew this about me. I knew I wasn't like making up stuff. I could feel it. Yes, you always knew. Yes, I agree. And now you don't have to just sit with it. Now we get to utilize this energy leadership index assessment tool where you get to see you in all its glory. And you get to create what you want it to look like thereafter. It could be next week. It could be in a couple of months. There's no time frame. There's no finish line. Raise the awareness, recognize your abilities, and take action. And with that being said, you dope peeps, that's a wrap. I really do appreciate each and every time that you show up. I appreciate that you share. And I so appreciate you opening up when I open up so then I can share with other listeners and allow them to know that they're not alone. So thank you all. Thank you to those who replied or commented on last week's post for the 34th episode. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, V. Thank you, John. Thank you, Lene. I so appreciate all of you and those who continue to comment. This time that we spend together, I do not take for granted. I know everybody's busy. Hell, I'm busy. And there's so many podcasts that I want to listen to, I try to listen to, but I also recognize that we are human beings and we get to change our minds. You come and go as you please, you share as you please. Feel free to write a review if you find it in your heart to do so. I really do thank y'all, and I look forward to working with those who are excited about taking this Energy Leadership Index tool. It is life-changing. It's just awe-inspiring. It is powerful. It is a breath of fresh air that I am allowing myself to enjoy. I look forward to talking with some of you very soon. And I'm Crystal, the UnStuck corporate coach. Stay curious, peeps, and we will talk next week. Until then, get unstuck. Peace.